So good evening. Good evening to all you future millionaires out there today. We have a special guest with us that's going to speak with us about my favorite topic, which is mindset. As part of this show is concerned, we're going to dive a little bit into his expertise of subconscious, subconscious techniques. Mr. Jim Lutes, author, speaker, entrepreneur. His motto is release, recraft, redefine. I want to jump right into this interview, so I'm going to let him introduce himself and take us back to where it all began. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Hey, man, thank you so much. I'm coming at you from San Diego, California, with our perfect weather. So I'm very blessed to be here. I'm a native homeboy here. They call me the unicorn. I live here, was raised here, and was born here. So taking it back without belaboring the audience out there. Mindset is a very frequently used term these days because it goes without saying everybody needs a good mindset. Everybody needs a positive attitude, and rightly so, they do. And however they derive that, whatever works. It's not up for me to dictate it. However, mindset has its origins in the emotional pool of the subconscious. So, how consistent are you with that mindset, or does the tripwire, turn off the circuit breaker? So we have to look at that. I've been in the personal development industry 30 years, and I've taught personal development. My background is in high-level hypnosis, neurolinguistics, psychosomatic parenthetics, psychoneuroimmunology, and all the fancy words, which really are under the umbrella of what the mind is capable of at a very, very expert level. And it's no different than being an athlete, bodybuilder, athlete. I have a black belt in karate. It didn't come from going to 3 karate lessons. It came from, years, getting my butt kicked, in a karate class. So, it's anything else. It's input versus output. But, so many times, we give things a try, and we never really learn proper techniques. I'll use the fighting sports again. I mean, you've seen it. You got, a guy that's, good at fighting in the street, and he goes up against an MMA person. The only difference is the MMA person has trained his body and his reflexes and his strategies and tactics and techniques to be good at that. So what you see a lot in the mindset world is, yes, I agree. Of course you do. But what strategies and tactics are you using that puts you at a world-class level?
I'm glad you touched on that. A lot of it these days are based on what I call microwave strategies. Get rich quick. The law of attraction, just think about it and it shall come. So that's what's out in the universe when, people are speaking of success and mastering their skill set. But you dive deeper into that. It's more of a technique, subconscious technique. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Sure, I'll do it in simplistic, easy terms. And so there's a company out there, and I'm sure you've heard of them. They're called Nike.
Yes, sir.
The sports company. Do you happen to know what their slogan is?
Just do it.
Yeah. Now, did you memorize that?
It seemed like it just came to me, but
it came from the three ways that you're programmed: authority figure, repetition, and traumatic incident. So in that case, it was Michael Jordan and repetition. Now, if that slogan is in your head, you can't get it out. I could, because I know the techniques, but you couldn't get it out. So now a person, not you personally, a person has to ask themselves, what else is in my head that was programmed through authority figure, repetition, or traumatic incident that I'm incapable of getting it out? If you can't get the Nike slogan out, then you can't get the "you're never going to amount to anything, young man. Why can't you be like your brother? You're not going to be anything. You're ugly. You're stupid. You're, whatever that programming is, parent, coach, teacher, mentor, society, whatever that programming is, you're incapable about getting it out. So to override it would just say, I'm going to have a good mindset. It's going to come back like that little monster because it's in there, just like the Nike slogan, and you can't get it out. I live in San Diego, and right over here, I'm looking, there's the ocean, and then right on the other side is Mexico. I'm looking right at Mexico right now. If you were to go down to Mexico, it's a completely different place, but it's right there. I could be there in 45 minutes having a margarita if I wanted to. So now, but if you look at a young boy or girl in the United States, say they're 7 years old, 8 years old, they're taught, and rightly so. I'm not arguing with this. They're taught, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers. Look at the girl on TV, something happened to her, do not talk to strangers. And that's good advice. Granted, it's very good advice. I would give the same advice. However, if you go 45 minutes, 30 minutes, right over here, they're taught the exact opposite. They're saying, go talk to every stranger you can talk to because we're going to live better if you do that. So it's only a half an hour away, but 180 degrees different programming. That's why kids, and again, I'm saying that they should be told that, but that's why kids in the United States grow up and they don't like sales, or they don't like public speaking, or they don't like network marketing, or they don't like any of this stuff, to where all of a sudden they have to talk to strangers because they're programmed that something bad may happen to them if they talk to strangers. But that was so long ago that it's stored in the subconscious. And that's why people don't like, for the most part, those types of professions.
With you saying that, it seems as if here in the United States, we are taught those lessons. However, those jobs that you just mentioned really correlate to the highest paid jobs that there is. Sales, public speaking. So I don't know if that's like a factor or not. The fact that we're taught that as kids and it correlates to, you know, like
it does.
Sales.
No, you're spot on, man. It does. I mean, you're paid for your value, not your time. And that's something that people don't understand. If Einstein could go work at McDonald's, they're not going to pay him $500,000 a year because the job only pays that much. So you're paid for the value you bring, not just, you know, for your time. That's why the personal development, primarily I do seminars and trainings all over the world. And I'm paid for my value that I'm bringing to that audience, even though a lot of them are my own seminars. If I bring that value to the audience, then there's no opposition to somebody paying for that value, whatever that price may be, because they're seeing it as value. You know, there was a long time ago, somebody would do 10 hours of work for 8 hours of pay, meaning in like, if I already clocked out and you said, hey, you forgot to sweep up the warehouse, I don't need to clock back in. I got it. I'm a team player. You know, now it's like, how do I screw the company over? Not every case, but it's kind of like, you know, how do I slip out here early and how do they do that? So what happens, what people don't understand is somebody's watching. You may be the person that wants to give somebody a promotion or have you in their band or have you on their football team or whatever the case may be. It's ultimately going to, you know, reveal who you are as an individual. Do you do as much as possible or do you do as little as possible? And I'll couple it with this. You're born with two fears, and that's it. The fear of falling and the fear of noise, because those are sensory. You put a tarantula on a baby's chest, it plays with it. It thinks it's a toy. If it bites the baby, that's traumatic incident. If the parents say, no, don't play, then that's authority figure. So all the other fears are developed. You're not born with a fear of dogs. You're not born with a fear of intimacy. You're not born with a fear of heights. You know, you're not born with all of that. It's developed somewhere along the road.
What is so that's childhood. That's where it develops. Where in middle age, early adulthood, when someone recognizes it, where can they take the cross at the road? Where, you know, the break in the road?
Yeah, I mean, it's not only in childhood, it's generally that's where it develops because you don't have a filter. That's why kids believe in Santa Claus, because an authority figure told them over and over and over, Santa Claus is real. You know, you get to around 12 or 13, you're calling BS on that because you've already got enough life experience to where, I don't know about the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. Yeah. And so even if you're an adult, it can be repetition and authority figure, that an environment that will cater to that. So all you need to do is learn some techniques and strategies to reprogram the subconscious. So what high-level hypnosis does, or neurolinguistics, is they remove that little filter that's keeping it's like a like a bouncer at a bar. All those people got in the bar before the bouncer was there. Now they're all creating chaos. There's good people, bad people, nice people, mean people. And so what happens, you remove that filter, let the bouncer in there for an analogy, and he can say, okay, you can stay, you're out of here. You can stay, you're out of here. You can stay. So you end up with a consolidated group of patrons or programming in your subconscious that serves you. Because there's a lot that happen that will help you get to better emotions, better relationships, more money, and better health. But there's also things that are standing in the way. So it's like driving a car with one foot on the gas. And you know this, you're an entrepreneur. You're driving with one foot on the gas and say, I need the car to go faster. So you have a tendency, okay, I'm going to push harder on the gas, push harder. It makes sense, right? However, what you didn't notice is you have one foot on the brake pedal. You have to release the brakes. And once you're able to do that through high-level subconscious strategies, now you don't need to push on the accelerator anymore. You're going to be going twice the speed with the same amount of effort because you took your foot off the brake pedal.
Righteous. That's it. That's it. I love the way that you put that. Awesome. So to segue, these are techniques. If you've been lost all this time, you have grown up to have these roadblocks in your life.
Yeah.
Now it's time to speak with Jim. Jim has programs, techniques. So can we speak a little bit about that? And with that, we'll get into your programs as well.
Sure. You can work independently with somebody. I don't do a lot of private clients. I do some high ticket private clients because it's kind of like playing the guitar. It's kind of like giving guitar lessons versus playing the guitar on stage. You're playing the guitar both ways, but I like the front of a live audience thing more than I do one-on-one. So I've got different programs that are MP3 and video, et cetera. But the idea here is to figure out an area at first. So usually it's relationships, emotions, money, or health. They're all intertwined. So if your money goes down the tubes, it's probably going to affect your relationship. The stress is going to affect your health. You're going to get angry. And so if you get all of those running on congruently, all of them, then you're like a fine-tuned Ferrari. Now you can go out on the track and make it happen. So I know with the show that you're doing, and a lot of the speaking, I just came from a real estate investment forum this morning, and a lot of it was money focused. Well, the thing about money is that there's plenty of it, and it might not be in somebody's bank account, but there's plenty of it out there. So if you want to know about water, you don't ask a fish because the fish doesn't notice it because it's around it its whole life. If you want to know about the American free enterprise system, you don't ask an American. You ask somebody that came over here, like this guy from Cambodia that was down here this morning. He's a multimillionaire at 24 years old. He started laundromats in Los Angeles. He didn't know any other way. He saw the United States as legit the land of opportunity. He goes, what's the matter with all you guys? And so you're looking at it from just a different perspective. So when you're talking about money specifically and how to program the mind for money, you need to find a synchronicity between belief and excitement. So, and having $50 million, that's exciting. But the subconscious doesn't really believe.
Okay.
It just doesn't believe it. So you're going to hit the roadblock. So here's how you do that. You're going to program your mind, right? And what's, one of the easiest ways, if you don't see it, is alpha state brainwave. It's when you wake up and when you go to sleep. So you're going to program your mind to go twice where you're at. So if you're making $80,000 a year, 160,000 is pretty damn excited, twice the income. But your mind also says, yeah, that's possible. If you're at 160, 320, yeah, that's possible. If you're 320, 640, yeah, that's possible. So you go up the ladder a couple rungs at a time, and then you'll hit millionaire. But just to go from minimum wage to $20 million, it's exciting. It's like the lottery, but your mind's going, yeah, in your dreams, that's not going to happen. So you're actually reverse programming because you really don't, the excitement isn't intertwined with possibility.
Gotcha. It's the possibility. It's the possibility.
You gotta believe it. You got to believe it's possible, 100%.
Yeah. I see where the wrongs come in. The goal setting, knocking down, goals as you're going to your ultimate goal. Eat the Frog is the book.
And all that, it's so funny you said that because I was just on I work a lot. I like working. And so it's not really work. It's like telling Beyonce to stop singing or Picasso to stop painting.
Right.
No matter how much money they have, they're not going to do it. Look at the
Yeah.
Super Bowl ushers out there. You should have called them and said, "Hey, usher, what? Listen, man, it's Jim Lutes. How you doing, man? Good, good. Listen, you got enough money. You don't need to go sing and perform." He doesn't do it for that. He does it for the love of the game and the love of the art and the love of the music. And so if you don't like something, you're always going to have that, that pushback, from it. But the one thing, somebody asked me this the other day, they said, "Jim, distill it down to one thing that an unsuccessful person needs." And we can go into mindset and this and that and the other stuff, right? But they asked me one thing. I said, discipline. Hey, how old are you? 40. 40. Okay. I'm not in that good a shape. Okay. I got 2 pieces of paper. I'm going to hand them to you right now. I got them in the other room. Here, this one tells you what to eat and when to eat it. This one tells you what exercise to do and when to do them. Come see me in 6 months. They can't do it. It's a 10-year-old could do it, but it's the lack of discipline to happen. So this guy told me at the real estate thing, he goes, "Jim, man, you're in really good shape." I go to the gym every day. It's not the magic pill that I bought on Facebook. I have to go to the gym. So sometimes things are so simple, but as you said brilliantly in the beginning, it's kind of like we're looking for the microwave. We need the microwave solution.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of the work. And what you just said, I watched an interview of yours where you said that it's not work. When you look at it as art, you're an artist and you're basically, getting up every day. And a lot of people say doing what you love, but you explained it as it's artwork. And if that's what you are, then you will never work a day in your life.
Well, artists don't retire.
Artists don't retire. That's what you said.
Artists don't retire. I mean, a guy's 85 years old over here painting the ocean. A guy could have $80 million in the bank, but he's an artist. He's a sculptor. He's a musician. He's a dancer. He's a motivational speaker. He's, an entrepreneur, software developer. They look at what they do as art, and you'll find this funny because you'll never, for the most part, you'll never hear any of my entrepreneurial friends say these 3 words, but you'll hear an employee say them all the time. And those 3 words are, "I'm off work."
Yeah.
I asked my friend, he owns a Krav Maga studio, like multiple, martial arts Krav Maga studio. I go, "Daryl, when are you off work?" It was never. It doesn't mean he doesn't chill or hang out with his girlfriend or watch a movie, but up here, at least, he's not off work. Whereas somebody that has a job, nothing wrong with a job, they're kind of like, "Yeah, I'm off work. And then I don't think about anything. All the problems belong to the company." Well, here's the challenge with that. If you want to be an entrepreneur, which most millionaires are, most employees are not, unless they have stock options or something. The challenge with that is when you're an employee, and there's nothing wrong with this. I have to keep my disclaimer in there. You work 20 hours for 20 hours of pay. No problem. No big deal. My brother did that. It's no big deal. All right, here's the challenge when you become an entrepreneur. You have this thing called competition. And a guy like me will crush you. I'm going to outwork you 10 to 1, outsmart you, out-network you, out-invest you. So if you have competition, that's where reality strikes that, oh shit, in my job, I didn't have any competition. The company had the competition. Mm-hmm. If you're in an entrepreneur space, there's people that hustle, they're up at 4:30 and making it happen, man. And so there's one house for sale. Who's going to get it? The person that's just shredding or the person that's laying around? So it's a rude awakening for some people. But if you build yourself, right, you build the business. If your daughter was missing, God forbid, your daughter, I don't have kids, but if my daughter was missing, I went up at midnight putting flyers on the telephone poles.
Right.
Give me my own business. I'm sleeping until 11 and binging out on Netflix and salsa. That desire, isn't there until you connect it up here, to what the end game is. Or you'll just be like marbles that roll. Like, let's say you and I went to a really cool motivational seminar. And we're like marbles, click, 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 click. We're talking, oh man, this is great. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Oh great. You drop them on a table, they all start to roll on Monday morning. Some roll farther than others, but they all stop. They stopped because they didn't have the internal inertia once the fun and excitement wore off.
Yeah. 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 You're right about that. Once that adrenaline is gone, I've seen so many people even try to just, they, even on Facebook, even on the social media, they take off. Oh, I just started my business. And then the next thing you know, the adrenaline is gone. You know, they're not, they're like you say, now you're sleeping in. You know, you got a stimulus check. And you're cool with just, you know, having that in your pocket instead of saying, well, I'm going to 10 times this. You know, I see it all the
You
time.
gotta be around people like that, man. I know, you're working right now. You gotta be around people like that. I mean, if you're around a bunch of people just, chilling and doing nothing, it's hard for you to jump down and do 20 push-ups. But if you're around a bunch of people that are working out at CrossFit, it's hard for you to be the lazy guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just gonna lay over here and watch all of you guys. You feel like a like lazy, outsider. So that's why I always say, go to the gym. I'm self-motivated, but go to the gym. Look at that 80-year-old lady on the squat rack. What's the matter with you? So you get around that environment, and then you ask yourself those hard questions, right? Because if my boss, for instance, I'll be honest with you, man, my boss is a total jerk. He really is. I mean, that guy is like a drill sergeant, man. That guy is like a Marine Corps drill sergeant. Total jerk. I have to look at him every day when I look in the mirror. And I'm going to tell you what, that guy, he doesn't let me sleep in. He doesn't let me roll over. He doesn't let me blow stuff off. He doesn't let me procrastinate because he knows that my goals are contingent on performing. So I'm the employer and the employee. Right. If you have a tough boss, you'll be the richest employee. Yeah. If your boss is like, yeah, go ahead and blow it off, you're going to be a broke employee.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just, and it doesn't take, we can dig as deep as we want and make up excuses throughout life. But when it comes to mindset, and I see what you're saying about subconscious, because the way that I came up, even though the same people on the same street, we all grew up together. Mm-hmm. I had people in my life I was around people that were making millions of dollars. They wasn't, even though we grew up on the same street. I was, they was not. Mm-hmm. So when I got older and, I started making sales when I was real young, 8th grade, 12, 13 years old. Because I always looked at it as, I can't understand how when people tell you you're going to be, it don't have to be rich and successful. It can just be comfortable in retirement. But however, if you're comfortable in retirement, that means that you have had to work for 40 years.
That's right.
That didn't make any sense to me. I'm sitting here like, no, because I know a couple of people that already have millions, at 21, 22 years old, they was on their way. Now, they may not have been doing the right thing, but that let me know that if you do have the right product, mm-hmm. and you do have at least some business acumen and sales skills, you can find you something to sell.
Yes, sir.
And make you, whether you're door knocking, if it's 100,000 people in my city, I'm knowing if I can come up with a $10, $20 product, then I'm gonna have a pretty good amount of money, other than waiting 40 years to see this type of money.
I was talking, they go, Jim, how did you build, such a successful company? And I said, well, A, I'm good at what I do. I like to think I'm one of the best in the world. Okay, boom. However, I know how to market. Because you can be the best damn karate instructor on the planet. If you don't know how to market, they're not going to be lined up in front of your door. So my friend's a chiropractor. He's filing for bankruptcy. After all that education, leasing his building, the signs, his little white jacket with his name on it. He's hoping, he thinks all these people with bad backs are going to walk into his strip mall. I go, Mark, they're not all going to magically manifest, in front of your door. You got to get out and market, man. I mean, you don't have to spend, if you don't have a lot of money, if you got a lot of money, run in radio or TV spot and then sit back and watch them come in. If you don't have any money, like I didn't, we weren't poor, but I personally didn't have any money. And so then I had to, spit shine my shoes and put a jacket on and go out and shake hands. I had to go out and make it happen. It's not gonna, like you said in the beginning, you've said some really wise things. I'm looking over here at a guitar. I play the guitar. So I'm looking over here. I can sit there and go, I am a great guitar player. I play beautiful music. No, you don't, unless you get up and go over and practice it and screw it up for a month and a half. Then you'll be a good guitar player.
Yeah. Exactly, man. So I think I understand where the just the programming comes in at. So it's funny, man. Just even you mentioned music, even you can tell, I can tell the type of people that listen to a certain type of music, the way that their bank account is set up.
Yeah.
And it's funny because that would be the type of person, the people that, I'm gonna say this coming from the music I listen to, if you listen to a Jay-Z, you're probably not the same person that listens to some off-kilter music that's not talking about investing, that's not talking about stock markets. You don't understand this artist at all, but that's what he talks about, and that's his fan base. So I totally see the mindset and just the subconscious effort.
Are you ready for this? I'm gonna share something. I probably have done it once somewhere on a podcast. So in my early 20s, in a place called the Sunset Strip in Hollywood. You ever heard of that place?
Yeah.
Gazzari's, Whiskey, Rainbow, Cat House. I had my own heavy metal band. I played in heavy metal bands with Motley Crue and Great White and Dokken, and so they never think now, like they look at me and I got companies and stuff. They never pictured me in a hair metal band when I was 23. They're thinking I'm listening to jazz or something. I'm listening to Whitesnake.
Right.
So you just never know, man. And I think you have to remain true to who you are. There was a period in my life to where I didn't want to tell people when I was younger. I didn't want to tell people that because they might judge me in business, that I'm a heavy metal guy. And then you get to a point in life that it's like this wall comes down with people because they go, really? So am I. Yeah. But everybody's hiding behind the curtain trying to be a chameleon to what somebody else likes. And then you're sacrificing your authenticity and transparency. Somebody like you has been around people as long as I have, you can see right through it.
Yeah, you can, man. This podcast, I love it. I get to meet so many people that I would have never gotten a chance to meet, the whole internet deal, and speak with them. And like you say, you can tell the authenticity over, you know what I mean? The internet and different areas, and but we all have certain things in common. And subconscious mindset, one of my favorite things to talk about. My show is really based more on, you could actively lose that mindset that you have that's keeping you broke, keeping you without, and wake up and have a millionaire by morning mentality. It takes work. It takes techniques. And that's why I say it's my favorite subject. I'm so glad to have you on the show today to speak about it. You do have programs, and there's one question I would like to ask you, that if there's anyone out there that's listening and they are teeter-tottering with charging what they're worth, what would you say to that? Like, you have I think I seen a $30,000 program. That's your one-on-one.
Yeah,
I believe. A $8,000, $5,000 program. So if someone is out there listening and is really thinking, I can't charge that much. What would you say to that person?
I would say, look, then you use technology and you do what you can do. I'm not asking anybody to take second mortgages out on their house. There's a program on my website called Millionaire Mind Design, and it's a video program. And it's 4 30-minute modules that covers reprogramming the subconscious specifically to hit that $1 million mark. So I think it's on there for $7.95 or something. If any of your listeners, want a copy, I'll give it to them for $500. I'm not sure what it's on the website for right now, but I'll give it to them for $500. And then you've got the fact to go back and review it. It's me on video talking exactly how to structure the mindset up the ladder all the way to millionaire, and that's totally affordable. I think a lot of times people, they're just, and you know this, they're simply not used to investing in themselves. The same person that says, nah, I don't want to go buy Jim Lutes' program, will be at Best Buy tomorrow buying a $1,200 television set. Because it's a tangible, they can hold it in their hand. Yeah. They're not sure that this is really going to work for them. But you can't steal second with your foot on first. At some point, you have to take a leap of faith. So that's very affordable for everybody else. For what you're talking about, people seeing value and value proposition. My business philosophy is if I can see and smell and hear an ROI, return on the investment, I do it. So if I invested $1,000 in something that you do, and I made $1,050, that was a home run. Home run. I made my ROI. I made a return on that investment, and that kicks the subconscious into an abundance, scalable mindset. I just invested $1,000, I made $100. I invested $2,000, I made $200. I'm not like, well, I don't have my Lamborghini yet. No, you're working up the ladder because your belief needs to start getting going. So what I tell my students that are, I take on some marketing students, but I tell them, I go, will you just go record a 20-minute MP3? Send it to Fiverr, have some music put underneath it, and just talk about your story or whatever it is you want to talk. Go sell that for $10, yeah. $5. Just get that pipeline flowing, because you're like a restaurant that never sold any spaghetti. You haven't even sold any garlic bread. So at least get something going. It doesn't have to be the $50,000, $30,000 program or anything else, but you start getting that the quantum field universe, your own belief systems flowing to where there's money actually flowing. The amount of money doesn't matter, because that can always go up. There could be more water flowing in the river, but the river has a dam on it right now. So you got to get that water / money flowing a little bit. I don't care if it's $1. Here, give me $1, for these business cards right now. Okay, boom. That was an exchange of value for money. The amount doesn't matter. That will scale up. But it's kind of like, getting in the gym for people that want to lose weight. You lose that first 5 pounds. You're not going to be a fitness model, next month. But you'll get the momentum going a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Man, these are nuggets. These are nuggets and gems. Nuggets and gems coming from Jim. Hey, man, I want to thank you.
Website I'll give them my email if they want a special, offer deal on the programs. Then they can just reach out to me personally, and I'll hook them up outside the website.
Okay. I'll definitely drop your email in the description for the podcast and the YouTube. What about social media? Can they follow you on social media?
Sure. IG, I'm Jim Lutes Mind, M-I-N-D, like mind power, just Jim Lutes Mind, that one word. Facebook is Jim Lutes. LinkedIn is Jim Lutes. YouTube is Jim Lutes Personal Development. And if you Google, I'll give a secret on how to do this for all you entrepreneurs. Use a trailing keyword anytime you have people search for you. So if you do Jim Lutes, there's me, there's an artist in Chicago, and some insurance guy. Well, I'm not either of those guys. I'm me. So just put Jim Lutes Hypnosis or Jim Lutes Success or something after it. If somebody's a baseball player and your name's, Rick Watterson, well, there's a million of them. But you put Rick Watterson baseball, that'll get rid of all of them. And
right. I think I put Power Media.
Yeah, Power's good. Okay. Scared me for a second, man. I didn't know what you were going to put after it. But yeah, Power works for me. Okay, good.
Okay. Hey, man, listen, if you're listening out there to this show, whether you see it later or whatever, you have to be crazy not to follow this guy. Plenty insight. This is not a long show, but it was a good show. And I would believe that if you were to follow this guy, you would gain a lot more value than what you just did here, in which you just heard yourself. Make an investment in yourself. Make that leap, that quantum leap. Jim, I want to thank you for coming on the Millionaire by Morning show today. It was awesome to have you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Phenomenal job as a host. And if you're ever in San Diego, hit me up for sure.
Thanks, man. I want to come see some of that sunshine / cold.
Here, look at this. I'll show you Mexico. You ready?
Yeah, let's see Mexico.
See that land way over there across past the bridge? That's Mexico.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, man. You have a great night and much success in everything you do, Jim.
Thank you, sir. Same to you.
All right. Talk to you later.
From mastering the art of saving to harnessing the power of investments, we cover it all. But it's not just about the money. It's about cultivating a millionaire mindset that propels you towards success in every aspect of your life. Join our community of ambitious go-getters and discover the secrets to becoming a millionaire by morning. Subscribe now to Millionaire by Morning on your favorite podcast platform. And let's make your financial dreams a reality. Millionaire by Morning, where money mindset, motivation, and mastery meet. Subscribe today and unlock your path to prosperity.